Hello, I'm Iris Matthews, a romance author. Hello, I'm Iris Matthews, a romance author. A romance author. Can you stop, please, with the mouth noises? It's really gross. Hello, I'm Iris Matthews, a romance author. Today, I want to dig into one of a writer's most essential tools, the power of having a group of fellow writers that you trust. The power of having a group of fellow writers that you trust, both because they understand the craft of writing and because they will give you honest, super honest feedback. It's important to remember when you get a critique to give yourself space to process it. Then, when you've gotten some distance, to get to the heart of the comments, to decide for yourself how to move forward. Okay, let's back up. When I first started writing as an adult, it was very solitary. I scribbled away by myself, but I knew I needed help to get better. I didn't know where to find that help, but I poked around the internet and found a writer community in my area that became the Great Lakes Fiction Writers. Formerly, it was a chapter of the Romance Writers of America, or RWA. I took a couple online workshops, but hadn't found a group of critique partners. That's about when I applied to Seton Hill University. When I sent in my 10 sample pages of writing, I had never let anyone read my fiction writing before. It felt like a sink or swim moment. And I was sent 7 people's 10-piece and I was sent 7 people's 10-page pieces to critique and had only my own limited history with proofreading, business documents, and any draft review from undergrad. Thankfully, we had a lesson on critiquing when we got to campus for our week of residency, so I had materials to read ahead of time. But I definitely felt like an imposter. I mean, who was I that they should listen to anything I had to say? But the reality is, everyone can have valuable input. First, because we can give our honest impressions as we read. We can share what we're wondering and what we expect and why. Second, we've all been around stories our whole lives. Even before I studied writing as a craft, before I took a grammar class, before I ever wrote the words "the end" for the first time, I had been reading and watching stories from childhood. All right, fast forward. It's time to talk about the whats and hows. A critique is when a draft is shared with the purpose of making it better. By better, I don't mean proofread for typos necessarily. What I mean is, does the story make sense? Are the main characters likable, or at least worth rooting for? Do they have depth and goals, motivations, longings, and conflicts, wounds, things like that? Can a place and time be defined? And so forth. In the pages that are shared, include your name and contact info, email especially, the working title, page numbers, and maybe a few specific questions for your critique partners. When you get pages to read for someone, put inline comments of questions or thoughts as they occur to you. I found there really isn't ever too much. Word and Microsoft have a lot of features in the review tab. When you get pages to read for someone, put inline comments of questions or thoughts as they occur to you. I found really there's never too much. Word and Microsoft have a lot of features in the review tab, so use those. Remember, when you're reading someone else's writing, this isn't your story, so don't try to make it yours. The goal is to help your partner write the best version of their vision. You don't even have to like the story, although maybe don't be harsh in saying that. Rather, let them know when something is confusing because of a plot hole, or a character seems inconsistent, if you don't buy something, or you're taken out of the story because the pacing is off. All of those little details can help them know where there are problems. You don't necessarily have to solve them for them. One of the things I do is use the highlighting feature to give my partners a quick reference and me a quick way to convey some info. For instance, if I love something, then I'll highlight it in pink. If I do spot a typo, it goes in yellow. I can't take credit for this. I got it from a fellow writer, Tara L. Roy. No matter how you use this, make it your own, and just always be sure to share a key so they know what each color means. Ultimately, the most important thing here is that we are coming together to support each other as writers on our individual journeys. It takes a village sometimes. Thanks for joining me.